Welcome, everybody. My name is Ashley Jones. We have a really exciting presentation for you today. It's going to be jam-packed with information on wholesaling, and Bank Foreclosures Direct is going to give you a lot of tips. They're going to take your real estate investing to the next level. So have your pen and your paper ready. Of course, you can utilize the panel that's on your computer to ask any questions, and we'll be sure to get to them. Today, we're proud to have Mr. Rick Brown on the online event. Rick is the president and CEO of Bank Foreclosures Direct. He is one of the most successful real estate investors in the country today. He is also a leading real estate investment expert and facilitator of acquisition of bank-owned foreclosures. So let's get ready and welcome Mr. Rick Brown. Yeah.
Hey, thanks everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, good, good. Who wants to make some money? Great. Who wants to make a lot of money? Good, you're on the right webinar. My name's Rick Brown. I'm the president and CEO of National Business Solutions, DBA Bank Foreclosures Direct. Our offices are located at 4660 La Jolla Village Drive. We have the entire 5th floor right there, right across from the UTC Shopping Center in La Jolla, California. I've been in real estate since 1972. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I live in San Diego now. I grew up with a single parent, older brother, older sister. My mom worked at the Hillsdale Mall. She worked for a company called Zales. My older brother, my older sister, very intellectual. They both got great grades, straight A's, scholarships. My brother graduated out of UC Berkeley, president, top of his class. He just retired out of the California Senate. I, on the other hand, I didn't have great grades when I was going through high school. I was the last one home. My brother and sister were gone. I just barely squeaked out with maybe a C, C minus average. So unfortunately, my mom didn't have any money, and she wasn't able to pay for me to go to college. So we decided that I was probably going to just go to CSM, College of San Mateo, a little small JC college, go there for a couple years, try and get my grades up, see if I could get a scholarship to a bigger university. That summer, after I got out of high school, I was going to pick up a full-time job, work during the summer, save some money, and then start College of San Mateo at the beginning of the year. So what happened is I was out, in 1972, I was looking for a job. Where'd you look for a job? The newspaper. You guys remember what those things are? Yes, the newspaper. I was calling, setting up interviews, going out. One night, my mom got home from work. She worked late. She gets home about 9. The mall closes at 9. She gets home about 9:30. Just so happens that that day, while she was at work, and by the way, she had some of the best clients. Who were her clients? In 1972, she had the 49ers, all the San Francisco 49ers, Joe Montana and the gang. But she also had two very, very wealthy people. They were actually single when she first met them. She introduced them. They ended up getting married, John and Claire. And just so happens they were in the area. They're very, very, very successful people. They were in the area of my mom's store, decided they'd pop in, say hi to her. They were very close with her. As they were chatting and stuff, just before they left, my mom asked John, said, "John, could you do me a big favor?" He said, "Shoot, Mary, what can I do for you? Anything." Well, my youngest son, he didn't get very good grades and stuff like his brother and sister, and, kind of struggling, doesn't really know what he wants to do, planning on getting a job for the summer and then going to College of San Mateo. Is there any chance maybe you could sit down with him and, chat with him, maybe give him a little guidance, man to man? John looked at my mom and said, "Shoot, Mary, I'd love to. Give him my number. Tell him to give my office call at 9 tomorrow. I'll free up some time in my schedule. I'll sit down and chat with him." So when my mom got home that night, she said, "Well, how you doing?" I said, "Great. How was work?" She said, "Fine." She said, "What'd you do?" I said, "I've been making phone calls. Oh, gosh, I got a couple interviews coming up. Kind of all I did all day." She said, "Well, just so happens two of my favorite people, my best clients, two very successful people popped in, John and Claire. And I asked him if he'd sit down and chat with you. This guy's very cool guy. You're going to love him." And he said he'd be happy to sit down and talk with you at his office. And he wants you to call him at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Can you give him a call? I said, "Sure. Why not?" So she gave me his number. The next morning about 9 o'clock, I'd already been making some phone calls. I called over his office and I said, "Hi, this is Rick Brown. I'm calling for John Bergman, and I was wondering if he's available." She says, "Oh, shoot, he's expecting your call. Hold on, I'll put you right through." Shoot, he got on the phone, says, "Your mom's Mary? I love your mom." Says, "So what are you doing?" I said, "Shoot, making phone calls, trying to find a job." He said, "So are you busy around, say, 11 o'clock this morning?" I said, "No." He says, "Well, why don't you pop down to my office? I'll give you the address, and we'll sit down and chat for a little bit." I said, "Okay." I got his address, went down. His address was on El Camino Real, right in San Mateo. It was the nicest building in the Bay Area. He had the whole top floor. When I went in, I was just amazed how nice the building was. Got up to the top floor. I was even more amazed how elegant and beautiful the top floor was. I went in, talked to the receptionist, said, "Yep, my name's Rick Brown, here to meet with John." And she said, "Hold on, he's expecting you. Come on in. Can I get you coffee, tea, water?" I said, "No, I'm good." So I sat down and we started chatting and stuff. Shoot, turned out he was a very cool guy. We just kind of both kind of clicked with each other. And next thing you know, we're talking and talking and talking about all kinds of stuff. Next thing you know, as he looks at his watch, says, "Oh my gosh, it's 12:30, Rick. Shit, we've been talking for like an hour and a half." He says, "Look, I get up real early in the morning, like 5 a.m. He says, "Are you hungry? Because I'm starved. Why don't you let me take you to lunch? What do you say? Come on, I'll buy you lunch. I'll take you to my favorite restaurant." I said, "Okay." So we got in the elevator. I didn't know where I was going, but we went down the elevator, got off in the lobby. Still didn't know where we were going. Start walking over. There's this beautiful, elegant French restaurant. He says, "Here's where we're going." I said, "Wow." I said, "Can I get in? I only got jeans on." He says, "Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're with me." So we went in. They all knew him. He sat, got his regular table. We sat down and chatted, had lunch, found out, shoot, he owned the restaurant. Not only that, not only did he own the restaurant, shoot, he owned the building. He was not only a major developer, I found out he's the guy that started Century 21 Real Estate with a guy named Jerry Brassfield, self-made multi-billionaire. I was just sitting there going, "Oh my gosh." And we're sitting there having lunch. Next thing you know, we're talking about all this stuff. He says, "So your mom's all excited. You're going to go to college at San Mateo, pick up your grades, a couple years, transfer to a big school." I said, "Yep, that's the goal." He said, "So you're looking for a job for the summer?" I said, "Yep, how's it going?" I said, "I'm still looking." He says, "Rick, you know what? By now, shoot, it wasn't 12:30 anymore. It was almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon." He says, "Here we've been sitting here chatting for another hour and a half." He says, "I'll tell you what." He says, "How would you like to work for me?" I said, "You're kidding." He says, "No, honestly, would you like to work for me?" I said, "Shoot, what would I do?" He says, "Anytime I need somebody to go for this, go for that, that would be you. You'd be the gopher guy." I looked at him and said, "Shoot, I could do that. I could be the gopher guy." And I went to work for him. Found out he not only built Redwood Shores, an elegant subdivision in San Mateo, Belmont area. He also built half of Hillsborough, which is the most expensive area in the Bay Area. If you know anything about real estate in the Bay Area, it's the most expensive market in the country. I also found that he built shopping centers, hotels. He did the MGM Grand in Reno. He built shopping centers. He built shopping malls, strip malls, subdivisions, condominium complexes, and still ran the entire Century 21. He also started a company. He also owned Founders Title Company that older became Old Republic. So I went to work for him. I ran errands. I went over to title companies. I went to escrow companies, picked up this, picked up that, picked up documents, went to attorney's office, picked this up. Oh, I went to architect's office, picked up drawings. I did this, I did that. He had me go up to his house. I washed him and his wife's cars. They both had Rolls Royces. He had a Porsche Turbo. She had a Mercedes. I cleaned the helicopter. He had a helicopter, a helipad in the back, so I cleaned that out. They'd have dinner, cocktail parties and stuff. I'd go up in the evenings. I'd serve cocktails and hors d'oeuvres and stuff. I did whatever he wanted. I went to the cleaners for him. I picked up their cleaning, took it back up to their house. I was his gopher guy. And I started getting along real good with his wife, too. Next thing you know, I'm doing all this stuff with him. Next thing I know, shoot, summer's coming to an end. Next thing I know, I walk in the office. Secretary looks at me and says, "John wants to talk to you." I said, "Okay." Great. Went in his office, said, Rick, have a seat. So what's going on? I said, I don't know, just walked in. He says, in a couple of weeks, you're going to be starting college. And I just got off the phone with your mom. She's real excited for you. And last night I was talking to my wife, and Claire and I were sitting there chatting and said, you know what, we really like you. We like that Rick Brown guy. And we chatted and stuff. And I already ran this by your mom. She's okay with it. And I just want to know this, Rick, I know you're excited about going to college and stuff, but would you like to stay on and work full time for me? Now, I can't promise you I'm going to get you a college degree or give you one of those. I never even went to college, okay? But I'll tell you what, I'm a multi-billionaire, and I can't give you a college degree, but I tell you what I can do for you. I can show you how to make a ton of money. So, Rick, what do you think? I said, shoot, count me in, and I went to work for him. Shoot, I got my real estate license. I'm a licensed real estate broker. He had me invest in my education. He taught me to invest in my education. He taught me all the success strategies that he had adapted to go out and become a multi-billionaire. I'm a licensed real estate broker in multiple states. I've had a CCIM, a commercial designation, a CHO, a CMA license. That's a condominium hotel operator license, condominium managing agent. I've got a PCAM license. I've had that. That's a planned community association management license. I'm a developer. As a developer and when I worked with John as a developer, I was able to put together the budget for the HOA fees before we offered anything for sale to the general public for condominiums or HOA fees for a residential subdivision as well. I did whatever he said. I went out, followed his advice, worked real hard for him. Next thing I know, end of 1970s, early 80s, walked in the office one day and the secretary said, oh, John wants to see you right away. I went in and said, okay. He says, Rick, have a seat. He said, look, how'd you like to take a ride with me? I said, okay. Whenever he asked me anything, I just say, okay, no matter what he said, even if I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. He says, okay, good. Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of the RTC, the Resolution Trust Corporation? I said, no, can't say I have. If you guys remember back in the late 70s, early 80s, we were going through a recession. We also had a savings and loan crisis. The FDIC went in and shut down all the savings and loans. They created a corporation called the Resolution Trust Corporation. Their job was to liquidate all the residential and commercial assets of those savings and loans. He said it just so happens that the FDIC shut down all these savings and loans. They created this corporation called the Resolution Trust Corporation. And my good buddy, Art Toronto, he's the president and CEO. So, Rick, what I want you to do is go home, get packed up tonight, meet me at the airport. He had a jet. He says, you know where my plane is. Meet me there at 7 a.m. I'm going to take you with me, and we're going to go out and pick through files and pick up some of these residential and commercial assets. And I got news for you. I'm going to make you a ton of money. This is your time. I said, but I don't have any money to invest. He said, come on, Rick. I'm a billionaire. Not only that, anybody who's a billionaire and does what I do, I have a ton of investors that just want to ride my coattail because everything I seem to touch turns to gold. So don't sweat that. Just be at the airport 7 a.m. We're taking off. Be early. Went down the next morning, got there about 6:30. He showed up. We jumped on the plane, flew up to Virginia. He took me to the Resolution Trust Corporation, introduced me to his buddy, Art Toronto. By the way, they owned a NASCAR together. They were good friends for a long time. He sat there and we went through file after file of all these assets, residential, commercial assets. We cherry picked them. We picked properties up from them 30, 50% below market value. In a slow real estate market, we sold those under value and sold them just like that. That year, I made, me personally, over $1 million. I couldn't even believe it. Shoot, I wasn't even, it's like, what, 27 years old. I was just beyond. Now, he made a lot more money than me, plus he made a ton of money off Century 21, the title company, and everything else he owned and did. But did I care what he made? No. I was just happy that I made a ton of money. Now, I never thought I'd see a time where it's so easy to make so much money as it was back then, until right now. You see, what we've been experiencing over the past 4-5 years, and what we're about to experience over the next 2 years, makes that look like nothing. Nothing. And I sent you guys an email, or Ashley did, saying if you give me an hour and 15 minutes, I'll show you how to make at least $30,000 a month. That's what I'm going to do here tonight. So let me ask you this. I'm an expert at showing people how to get in, get out, and get paid with Bank Foreclosures Direct. What's your goals for 2015? Ours is to go out and make a ton of money. How many on this call right here tonight would like to go out and make a ton of money with me? Just like John told me. You guys want to take a ride? I got news for you. Why real estate? Simple. Real estate, you either own and control it, or you pay the people who do. It's a fact. Real estate's created more millionaires and billionaires than any wealth center ever. Let's go back in time a little bit. Let's go back to December 7th, 2011. The Wall Street Journal wrote, home foreclosures jumped to the highest level ever recorded. We were in the middle of the biggest real estate crash ever. Home foreclosures higher than ever in the history of real estate. By 2012, Realty Track wrote that banks foreclosures are going to surge throughout 2012 as banks return to delay-free foreclosing, as banks start to process hundreds of thousands of new foreclosed homes. Mid-2012, Bay of A shift West Coast foreclosures into overdrive. Same thing with B of A, Chase Morgan, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, Wells Fargo. They were skyrocketing. All of a sudden, they get sued by 49 attorney generals for allegedly fraud, robo-signing, all these allegations coming up. At that particular time, in the state of California alone, there was 2,210,594 people in some type of foreclosure, 1 in every 10 homes. And we weren't the only state. But on June 15, 2012, even with 49 attorney generals suing all these lenders, that didn't stop them from foreclosing. They just turned up the heat. But on June 15, 2012, the United States Department of Justice stepped in. They started an investigation into wrongful foreclosure practices, robo-signing, allegations of fraud. And what this did over the next 6 months, it literally brought foreclosures to a stop. They started a case-by-case, file-by-file review of every one of these lenders. Lenders had a restraining order on them. They could no longer file a notice of default. If they already did, they couldn't file a notice of trustee sale. They could not liquidate any of their assets that they'd already taken back. The government was not only looking at them for all these things, they were looking at them criminally. And the lenders were flipping out. And by the end of 2012, guess what you saw? And by the way, this wasn't in the newspapers. This wasn't on CNN, wasn't in the news, local news, national news. By the end of the year, what the general public thought, oh, things are getting better. Why? Foreclosure filings are down. They weren't down. There's over 2 million in the state of California alone, let alone what's going on in Arizona, Nevada, Florida, and other places all around the country. They were forbidden from foreclosure, but this is not what the general public saw. All of a sudden, inventory started going down, going down, going down, going down. As the inventory went down, it's the law of demand. Demand drives price, price drives profits. The lenders hated the Department of Justice going through their files. They were scared to death of criminal filings against them. But what happened is, as the inventory went down, supply and demand, prices started to come up. People are going, oh, the real estate market's recovering. Oh, if they only knew there were still millions and millions of people out there in some type of foreclosure, but lenders just weren't proceeding. By 2013, Brandon Moore, Chief Executive Officer of Realty Track, wrote the low foreclosure numbers that we're seeing right now is not an indication that the massive reservoir of distressed properties built up over the past few years has somehow miraculously evaporated. The foreclosure crisis isn't going away anytime soon. At the current rate, Bloomquist, vice president of Realty Track, expects it to take until late 2015 before the country's massive foreclosures are in the rearview mirror. On March 7, 2013, 10 servicers agreed to pay borrowers $8.5 billion over flawed foreclosures. This is a settlement agreement announced, by the Department of Justice that ended an investigation into wrongful foreclosure practice, robo-signing, allegations of fraud, a case-by-case, file-by-file review that halted pending foreclosures in 2012. It was historic. And from there on, all through the rest of 2013 through 2014, guess what? Lender after lender all started cutting deals. They said, shoot, we'll pay. No more criminal prosecution or threats of criminal prosecution. Get out of our files. Let us go back to get rid of all these properties that we have. So what they did is they started foreclosing. June 13, 2014, banks start repossessing more homes, especially as prices have rose. They found out that actually maybe this wasn't such a bad thing in the Department of Justice. Shoot, we would have liquidated assets or wholesaled assets, and guess what? Shoot, we would have got less money. But now we're getting more money. Wall Street Journal writes that, guess what? Flippers are riding a new housing wave. Brokers say flipping is reemerging nationwide, especially where home prices have risen sharply. Thursday, August 21, 2014, B of A agreed to pay $16.65 billion in a historic Justice Department settlement for financial fraud. This is what stopped all the foreclosures. This was the biggest settlement ever. Now all these lenders are ramping up their foreclosure departments. They're wrapping up their wholesale departments. They're liquidating assets. You see, when they were foreclosing, they couldn't dump all that inventory as they were foreclosing. They had such a big inventory. They couldn't dump it on the retail market. If they did, they would drive down prices even further than they already were. So what they did is they started wholesaling properties to investors that were in the know, that knew how to talk their language, that knew how to get to them. That's the secret. How to get to them, how to know who these people are. The people on the retail side of the bank didn't even know there was people on the wholesale side of the bank. They didn't know who they were. They didn't know where they were. They weren't even quite sure if they really were. And I got news for you. Is some of these lenders, what happens is they had properties they took back. They were owed $900,000 on, but it was only worth $500,000. Their balance sheet dropped by 50%. FDIC was going, we're going to shut you guys down. You guys are insolvent. You got to get rid of that inventory and do good loans, fully documented loans, or we're going to shut you down. Banks that were fast enough were able to wholesale properties. They survived. Banks that were slow, Wachovia, WAMU, Washington Mutual, WAMU, too slow. Shoot, they couldn't liquidate. They didn't have a good department for liquidation. They didn't have a loss mitigation division. They didn't have disposition specialists. They didn't have asset managers, REO departments that were in charge of liquidating these assets. And they all got shot down. Now, the Department of Justice, they're cutting a deal with B of A. They're still cutting deals with banks. Just the other day, another bank cut a deal with them. They're ramping up their foreclosures, and this is where we're going to make a lot of money. The Capital Gazette on October 12th, 2014, this is out of Washington, D.C., wrote that a tide of foreclosed homes are on the rise again. State protection has ended. Department of Justice lawsuits have ended. Hundreds of thousands of new bank-owned properties sit empty across the country. A backlog of unsold properties that will eventually make it into the housing market at a discount. How many of you would like to be able to get properties 30, 50% in this kind of a market and sell them because the market is good and it's hot? There's also what's called, you probably don't know, have you ever heard of vampire or zombie foreclosures? There's a ton of these out there. A vampire foreclosure is one which the bank seized a property, but the previous owners continue to live there because they never evicted the people because they were being sued by the Department of Justice and 49 attorney generals. And then there's zombie foreclosures. These are the ones that the owners saw the notice of default, saw the notice of trustee sale. They had like 2 weeks. They found another house to move into. They packed up all their stuff, packed up the kids, and moved. But what happened, unbeknown to them, the Department of Justice sued them, stopped any liquidation, stopped the notice of trustee sale, stopped them from liquidating any assets. The people didn't even realize that the bank never followed through and didn't foreclose. And what they really don't even understand too is there are a bunch of these properties that are abandoned and the people still own them and they don't even know. Orange County, Southern California, November 18, 2014. Boy, things are starting to, people are kind of wondering what's going on. With the foreclosure crisis in the past, like everybody's hearing, why are foreclosures rising? So how do we get in? How do we make some money? Because my job is show you how you can get in, get out, and get paid. So where's the money? Oh, qualified short sale properties? Heck, if you would have told me about, asked me about short sale properties in the past, I would have just laughed at you. Why? Lenders weren't answering short sale offers. Why? They were busy being sued by the Department of Justice 49 attorney generals. They could care less. Shoot, they get a short sale offer from a owner of a property who's upside down. They wouldn't answer it. They just wouldn't answer them. I know people that waited over a year and still never got an answer. But things have changed since then. How have they changed? Well, something happened. Lenders are now increasingly using short sales instead of foreclosing. Mortgage bankers Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac passed a new law that speeds up the process with new policy guidelines that require lenders to make a decision within 30 days of receiving a short sale offer. But you got to know how to find qualified short sales, and you got to understand how to play the game with lenders to get them to accept your offer. The first thing I want to know on a short sale is who is this lender? Who's the lender? How strong, how weak are they? If they're a weak bank, and by the way, there's 903 weak banks in the United States today this close from getting shut down by the FDIC, I can shove an offer down their throat. What's a qualified short sale? One we can fast track. It's one where the sellers have already provided their lender with a hardship letter, 2 years tax returns, 2 months bank statements, all accounts, all pages, 2 months paycheck stubs or profit and loss statements if they're self-employed. They signed off on an authorization to release information, financial statements, financial worksheet. They want the lender wants to see, you got any other mortgages? I want to see those. I want to see your mortgage statements. I want to see if you're delinquent on those. And the people have completed a form 4506-T. If they've completed that form 4506-T, that means they're in communication. They have a contact person. The lender knows they're going to do a short sale. And if they're in a weak bank, about this close to getting shut down by the FDIC, see, I can track those banks. How many of you would like to be able to track banks like that? Well, I got news for you. I can shove it down their throat. See, what do lenders do when they do a short sale? Seller puts it up for sale with a realtor. You make an offer on the property. They don't accept it right away. They leave it on the market for about 2-3 more weeks until they have about 10-15 offers, and then they play buyer against buyer. Hey, you had the highest bid, now you're the lowest bid. You want to up your bid, you want to up it, you want to up it, back and forth, back and forth. Well, hey, in a bidding war, there's only one person that wins, and that's the lender. So what we do is we have part of our system is we make multiple offers at the same time. In other words, if we're interested in that short sale, we know they're a weak bank. What we'll do is we'll make 3 or 4 offers exactly at the same time on other properties. We'll make an offer on that property and another 3 offers. We'll put in our offer under special terms and conditions that the sellers and the seller's lender is hereby advised the buyer in this transaction is making 4 simultaneous offers. As soon as one is accepted, all others are hereby rescinded. That tells the lender, you better answer my offer. Number one, it's an all-cash offer. All of our offers are all cash. How many of you like to be able to make all cash offers? Yeah, I bet. That's the only way you're going to get from these banks properties. You got to be a cash buyer, and I'm going to show you how you can become a cash buyer as well. So they know we're a cash offer, very few contingencies. They look at it and say, shoot, if we don't answer this guy's offer quick and somebody else answers it and accepts it, our offer isn't worth the piece of paper it's even written on, and we need to liquidate assets. That's how you have to play a short sale. There's a secret to being successful in this business, to get in, get out, and get paid, to buy properties that we can make money on. We got extremely motivated sellers. What can motivate somebody to sell a property under market value, even if it's not a bank-owned property? People that have relocated. They got a great deal on another property. In order to get it, they've got to sell the existing house. Shoot, they got to sell it quick or they lose the other property. Out-of-town owners, people that inherit a property. Shoot, somebody inherits a house, they don't want the house. What do they want? Today's world, money. When do they want that money? Now. We live in a self-gratification era right now. People that have a bad experience with tenants. People that go through tax problems, bankruptcies. Oh gosh, people that are retired, have a loss of job. How many retirement accounts you guys got out there that aren't making anything? People are trying to catch up to get where they were 5 years ago. So somebody owns multiple income properties. They go, you know what? I'm not making much on my retirement account, but I'll liquidate a couple of these houses I have. And you know what? I'll keep up the same standard of living. People going through a divorce, people with health problems, stock market losses. Oh, government auctions. Do you understand that there's so many government auctions out there that you don't know about and the general public just doesn't hear about? Why? They're not advertised. Nobody knows. What kind of government auctions are there? What departments sell real estate? Simple. HUD, the VA, the FDIC, the IRS, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the USDA, U.S. Marshals, U.S. Customs, Department of Defense, the General Services Administration of the federal government, Department of Homeland Security, ATF, local police, Border Patrol, but you don't know about it. I know I'm on every one of these people's list. And I got news for you. There's only a handful of people that bid on any properties there because nobody else knows about it. Those people are people that have been buying at government auctions back in the days when they sent out paper catalogs. Okay? It's one of the easiest way to get wholesale properties direct from the government. And the government has a ton of real estate. Here, I'll give you one here tonight just for being with me here tonight. Write this website down and go to it. It's called Rick Levin. RickLevin.com. Go to his webpage. That's what it looks like. What does he do? He does auctions for the Department of Treasury. Okay, you got the Department of Treasury. You got the FDIC. Personal property, real estate. When you go to his website, go right here where it says stay up to date. Enter your email information right in here, and every time they have an auction, they'll send you a notification and they'll send you a list of inventory. And if you know how to research, got a good data source, you'll figure out what that property's worth. You can pick properties up for pennies on the dollar. You can also pick up cars, jewelry. Shoot, I got a Rolex watch, a used real Rolex watch for $100 and sold it for $9,000. Okay. I went to an auction in Southern California in Riverside. There was only like 10 of us there. They were liquidating over 21 pieces of real estate. I got a property worth over $1.5 million for less than $200,000. How many like to know how to get properties like that? Yes. You know what I call that? Sweet. Sweet, 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 sweet. But the easiest, most profitable way to make money in today's market, wholesale foreclosures direct from lenders. They can't retail all these properties, especially if they're in trouble and they're on the FDIC watch list. There's 903 banks in trouble in this country, and they need to liquidate assets and go out and make new good loans. And if they're too slow, like WAMU, like Wachovia, WAMU, too slow, they're going to get shut down. Every time a bank, we've had more banks shut down by the FDIC in the last 5 years than ever before in the history of this country, makes the savings and loan thing look like nothing. Not once did the government take over their assets. Why? They got bought out by a bigger bank. What did bigger banks pay to these little banks that were going to got closed down? 3 to 5 cents on the dollar. Do you see how if you could get a hold of these people, offer them 30, 50 cents on the dollar, you might look like a pretty good offer if they're about to get shut down. But the problem is, most people, they don't know how to find all the banks on the FDIC watch list. 4 years ago, you used to be able to go to fdic.gov. They would list all the banks on the FDIC watch list. They'd also list all the banks that they closed and who bought up their assets and who took them over. Now, if you go to fdic.gov, I got news for you. You can see all the banks that they've shut down and who bought them. what they paid. But you do not see the banks on the FDIC watch list. Why? Because 4 years ago, once it reached over 50, see, it used to be only like 2, 3, 4, 5, under 10. Once it reached over 50, the people at the FDIC called up their IT person and said, get in here. Take that down. Take that down off our website right now, right now, right now. You can't have people go to the FDIC and see over 50 banks or 900 banks that are this close to getting shut down. Next thing you know, somebody's going to go, oh, shoot, that's my bank. Honey, grab my wallet, grab the keys, grab our checkbook. Shoot, we got to go get our money out of that bank. Okay? There would be a run on the banks. But I got news for you. You may not have access. You may not be able to get it at FDIC, but guess what? I have a list of all those banks on the FDIC watch list. Kind of a nice thing to have. How many would like to have a list of all the banks on the FDIC watch list? How many would like to know how to get a hold of the right department? How would you like to be able to get a hold of an asset manager, an REO department, a loss mitigation, disposition specialist? How'd you like to have a contact name? How'd you like to have the contact number? That's where we have the edge on everybody else. That's the secret sauce to our success. See, we also have a bank guide, an interactive bank guide. Shoot, if I see a bank that's this close to getting shut down, if I can go in and find out all their inventory. And then I can go into our bank guide and I can track that lender. I can track any lender in this country. I can find out if they have asset managers, REO departments, loss mitigation. I can check. I can see who it is. I can see that, oh, shoot, loan servicing department. Oh, gosh, Academy Mortgage Corporation. They have a loan servicing department. They have an REO department located in Sandy, Utah. The contact person's name is Nicole in the REO department. These people are in trouble. They need to liquidate assets. I can tell you exactly how many residential assets and commercial assets they have. That way I can pick on these people. If you don't have a contact number and a contact person's name, you will never get through to these people. If you call them up and you just ask, oh, I want to see if you guys want to sell any of your foreclosures. Number one, they're going to know immediately you're a retail person, not a wholesale person. Why? They're not called foreclosures. They're called non-performing residential and commercial assets. You need to learn the language. If you don't learn the language, I got news for you. You'll never get any wholesale properties from lenders. We're able to track these down, like this property we got in Burbank. Okay, profit over 50,000. Cerritos, Southern California, profit over 75. Shoot, we were rolling in the dough years ago, just like we are right now, and we're getting ready to make more money than ever before. I was written up in the LA Times as a person who's making more money off these foreclosures than anybody else in the country. Next thing I know, I get a phone call from this guy, Mike. He says, hey, is this Rick Brown? I said, yes, it is, on my cell phone. And I don't really give out my cell phone number to people, kind of like, because everybody wants it. Next thing I know, I'll never get anything done. He says, hey, listen, I'm a friend of Art Toronto. You know who Art is? I said, yeah. Remember Art Toronto? He was the president and CEO of the Resolution Trust Corporation, who with John, my mentor, made me my first $1 million. We bought those savings and loans, residential assets and commercial assets, sold them in a bad market, under market value, made over $1 million. Well, you know what? Do you know what he does now, Art Toronto? Guess what? He's the president and CEO of a company called Prescient. That's spelled Prescient. Who is Prescient? I got news for you. They're the auditors for the FDIC. They go in and audit these banks. They're also the main asset managers for the FDIC. So you see, I have access to get to that list of all the banks on the FDIC watch list. And then he said to me, the reason why Art gave you my number is he said we might be a good match. You see, Rick, I know you make a lot of money and you've been very successful. I know your buddy John, too, your mentor. Okay, I've known him for years as well. Well, I got news for you. You may have a lot of money, but we got a lot more money than you. I said, excuse me? I'd never say this to anybody, but since you said that to me, how much money you got? He said, Rick, I didn't mean it to sound like that, but we literally have billions of dollars. Okay, I said, you got a lot more money than me. What's the point? What do you want? He says, I didn't mean to make it sound like that. The reason why Art gave me your phone number, he said we might make a good match. You see, I don't want to do what you do. We got a ton of money, billions and billions of dollars. We need to employ it. If that money is not employed safely and securely and earning a high rate of return, then we're losing money on it. So here's my proposition to you. I know you got a lot of money, but how would you like to use our money instead of your money? I said, okay, let me think about it for a second. Okay, I like it. I'll bite. What do I got to do? You're interested? I said, I'm very interested. See, I make a lot of money and I have a lot of money. But I got news for you. I live in Southern California and I invest in mostly California market. Average median home price that I deal in is about 600,000-700,000 or more. If I go out and buy 50 properties, I've tied up a lot of capital. I have to go in and fix those properties up or wholesale them, liquidate inventory in order to go buy more properties. In other words, I run out of money because of the price point that we have here in California. Yes, I make 100% of the profit, but do I have some risk? Oh, I got news for you. No matter how smart I am, there's always risk in doing what I do. We could have a major, God forbid, terrorism, anything could happen, everything stop. I figure, shoot, if I use their money, even though I'm only making half, would you agree I have absolutely no risk? And even though I'm only making half the profit, I can go out and do way more properties, 10, 20, 100 times what I was doing. And even though I'm only making 50%, I make a ton more money. I said, okay, what do I got to do? I'm ready to go. He said, well, if I were you, I'd contact your attorney. Before we get going, I'll send you an email. Give me your email address. I'll send you over our contact information. And I suggest that you have your attorneys draft up a non-circumvention, non-disclosure agreement. In other words, if you find a property and you send us all over all the information, this non-circumvention, non-disclosure agreement we'll sign. This will protect you so you will know and not have to worry that we're going to go around your back and steal the deal. I said, that makes sense. I got a hold of my attorneys. They went back and forth with their attorneys. We came to an agreement. It cost me about $2,800. Small investment. Put it together, got it signed. Then I said, so what now? He says, well, I'm going to send you over a checklist. Whenever you find a property, you need to email us over all this information. In other words, give us the subject property. We need you to go through the checklist. What we need are photos inside and out. We need a bid from a licensed contractor if you're going to fix up the property. We need an ARV CMA. That's an after renovation value CMA, comparable market analysis, with at least minimum three recent sold properties that were already fixed up. In other words, we want to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, not apples to oranges. Okay, I had my attorney draft that up. It cost me a couple grand for that. It also stipulated under there. I said, so what's the deal? I said, if I'm going to fix up the property, are you guys going to, help me with that too? He said, yeah. Matter of fact, we'll not only help you buy the property, we'll cover all the carrying costs, property taxes, insurance, gas, electric while you're fixing it up. We'll put up the cost to rehab the property as well. After we agree and look over your checklist, and if everything is, you send it over within 24 hours, you send us over that, send us over all the comps, send us a bid from a licensed contractor, we'll let you know within 24 hours, yes or no, 24 hours. If it's a go, just before closing, we will send an appraiser of our choice to go into that house with the bid from your licensed contractor as to what you're going to do to that house. And if he doesn't find something you missed, a cracked slab, major structural damage that you didn't account for, if he looks it over and he checks all the ARV comps, after renovation value comps, and if he says, yeah, this is what the property should sell for after they do that work, we'll go ahead, close the deal, and fund it. So what do you think? I said, I love it. Do you need a financial statement on me? Do you need a background check? I've got current financial statements. I give you my information. You can check my credit. It's excellent. He says, no. We're asset-based lenders. In other words, we're not looking at you, Rick. We're looking at the properties because that's our collateral. You understand? I said, I do. Then let me get this straight. It doesn't matter to you if I have good credit, bad credit, no credit. It doesn't matter to you if I'm employed, unemployed, if I've ever done this before. It doesn't matter to you if I'm in bankruptcy, I'm in foreclosure. Is this true? He said, well, I wouldn't say it like that, but yes, it is true. We're looking at only the property. That's our collateral. Look, we know our business just like you know your business. We'll have our appraiser look at it. We know you get that work done by that contractor, and we're going to pay him directly, not you. And it gets piecemealed as he actually completes the work. He's got to be fully insured and follow our checklist. So I said, great, love it. By the way, I went out and made these guys millions and millions of dollars after about a year. It just so happens investors like this, they run in groups. Next thing I know, I started getting calls from other groups just like them that have billions of dollars too. Hey, we know you're making these guys a lot of money. See, I turned out I was making these guys more money than anybody else. They said, shoot, how would you like to use our money? And then I started getting all different kinds of scenarios. See, their deal, okay, was they take half of the profit. Fine. You want half the profit? Great. That worked for me. And then other investor groups came to me and had a little different scenario. So right now I've got about 20 or so of these people that if you find the right residential asset, if you know how to get that property, buy it under market value, whether you're wholesaling the property or you're renovating the property, and the numbers make sense, they'll put up all the capital. By the way, how many of you would like to have that list of all my investors? I bet you would. I bet you'd like to have my equity participation agreement too. See, the equity participation agreement also served as escrow instruction. It stipulated that the investors are going to put up all the money to buy the property, fix it up, cover the holding cost, property taxes, insurance, gas and electric, water, all these things. Upon the sale of the property at a specific price, upon closing, they're to be paid back all their money plus half the profit, and then the escrow company cuts us a check for the other half. Pretty sweet deal, huh? Yeah? I bet you guys would like to have that equity participation agreement again. I bet you'd like my non-circumvention non-disclosure agreement. You don't want to pay an attorney $2,800, okay? Don't want to pay for that equity participation agreement? Yep. And you like my investor list? You want the checklist too? I bet you do. How many of you would like to have that FDIC watch list so you know which banks are strong, which banks are weak? See, I not only have all the weak banks, I have the strong banks. Why do I have the strong banks? Because that's where we keep our money. People always go, well, it doesn't matter if they get shut down. They're FDIC insured. Check. Any bank that's been shut down, you can't get money out of those banks for a minimum of 1 year while they audit the bank. Everything is frozen. All of your accounts, debit cards, everything. Okay, that's why we need to know. So how many of you like the list of all the strong banks too? I bet you would. It's what it's all about. This property, even after splitting with an investor, profit over $80,000. This one in Glendale, profit over $100,000. See, you got to learn how to present things to these investors. We have an Excel spreadsheet. I bet you'd like this. How'd you like to be able to analyze any property in less than 2 minutes? We also have special apps for our phone and our computers. I can go drive down the street and I can see every property right on my smartphone that's listed for sale. I can run a CMA and look at a comparable market analysis. I can tell everything on the market, everything under contract, and sold properties. I can tell you the value of a property in less than 2 minutes just driving down the street. How many would like to have all my smart apps? I bet you would. You see this Excel spreadsheet? I spent a ton of money perfecting this thing. How this thing works is you can analyze any deal in less than a couple minutes. Here, I'll show you. This is just a picture of one. I'll show you a real one. Let me come over here. Here's an actual, it's called Property Decision Maker. Why? You don't have to make the decision, it does for you. Now, I was analyzing another property right here that we're buying for $625,000, rehabbing it for $80,000. At the bottom line, we'll make a fast 50 grand on the deal. How many of you like that? Okay. Here's another deal I haven't done a worksheet on. I was looking at it just earlier. Here's the price of the property. This property is $425,000. The fix-up on this property, I'm looking at my fact sheet on it. I already had my contractor go with me and go through it. Okay, so 425,000, 60,000. This property is going to sell based on an ARV comparable market analysis of $660,000. Okay. What's this deal look like? All I got to do, how long did it take me to put in those three numbers? What are we going to buy it for? What's it cost to fix up? And what can we sell it for? Are you with me? Okay. How sweet is this? Come down to the bottom. After investors, we make a fast $31,336. Now this deal I might pass on. Why? Most of the deals I need to make a minimum of 50 to 100,000 or more. How many of you would like to do a little deal like this and after paying an investor make an extra $31,336? Yeah? How many would like to have a copy of my Excel spreadsheet? Yeah, I bet you would. See, you need to be able to act fast. You need to have data sources. You need to have the FDIC watch list. You need to have all these investors in line. You need to have smartphone apps. You need tools. If you don't have tools, you'll never compete with somebody like me. Why? We'll be faster than you every single time. So why isn't everybody profiting from all these foreclosures? It's not about lack of money. It's not about credit. Okay, and it's not about lack of time. How many of you on this call would be willing to invest a invest a minimum 6 hours a week to make an extra $30,000 a month? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. What stops people is fear. Fear. They've never seen a market like this. They never experienced. They didn't know about the Department of Justice. They didn't know about all these things. They didn't know why the market, all of a sudden foreclosures went down, how banks are starting to cut deals with the Justice Department. They're getting their foreclosure machines back up. I got news for you. 2 million people in California, alone in California, didn't just disappear. These lenders are going after these properties. I know some of you know people that have lenders haven't foreclosed on. People don't understand. They've been living in a house for 3 to 5 years. True? Absolutely. See, they're scared. They don't have the tools that we have. We have smart tools, smartphone apps, smart tools. We can analyze any property in less than 2 minutes. They don't have the investors, unlimited cash, so we can make cash offers. They don't have the list of bad banks. They don't have all these things. They don't know how to do it. Okay? Here's a friend of mine. His name's Blaine Smith. He said, I've been to Armando. You know that Armando Montalbano guy? Robert Kiyosaki, Rhett Whitney, you name it. I was there. I spent over $40,000 on their coaching and mentoring programs. They never helped me do a single property. Rick and his team of experts are the real deal. They showed me how to quickly get an actual wholesale foreclosure property direct from the lender, below market value, sell it fast for a $40,000 profit. Thanks, Rick. With gratitude and respect, Blaine Smith. Look, if you want to be successful, write down, here's your 3 keys. Number 1, you need to have a goal. If you don't know where you're going, don't be surprised if you end up in the wrong place. You need to have a deadline, which time you'll accomplish that goal. And most importantly, you need to have a consequence, something at risk that will motivate you to follow through. This is the most important part, and unfortunately, people just are not willing, or they're unavailable. They aren't willing to give themselves a consequence, to have something at risk to motivate them to follow through, and no other options. And if you don't have a consequence, I got news for you. You'll never follow through. Why? People are too busy in today's world. All of a sudden, you'll be working on trying to do something, and all of a sudden, something else will come up. Oh, shoot, I got to do this. I'll work on that tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next thing you know, dang, it's next year, and 2 years are gone by. You got to have a consequence. Look, if you're serious here tonight, you want me to teach you, train you, advise you, I'm going to make you an offer here that's the golden opportunity. This will make your entire 2015 and change your entire financial destiny. This is your one chance here tonight. I'm going to take some people by the hand. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to give you all my documents, my non-circumvention, non-disclosure agreements. I'm going to show you where we get data services so you can track the notice of default, notice of trustee sale, all new listings, show you how to run comps. I'll show you, give you the equity participation agreement. I'll give you my investor list and the checklist that goes with it. I'll show you how you do an ARV CMA. I'll give you the FDIC watch list. I'll give you my interactive bank guide so you can track down, get to an asset manager, an REO department, a loss mitigation, a disposition specialist. I'll show you how to get a person's name, contact numbers. I'll give you my Excel spreadsheet and a ton more. If you're serious, write this down. I've done this a few times before. It's $3,000. Tonight and only tonight, I'm going to do this for a one-time investment of $997. You know, all those Armando guys and Russ Whitney and all these people, shoot, they charge you about $1,500, $3,000, and then they don't give you anything. And then you find out in order to learn what you thought you invested in, you got to buy their gold, their platinum, their diamond packages. These run from 30 to 40 to 50 grand, and they still don't teach you how to buy a property. So one-time investment, $997. I'll teach you how to track REO properties, get wholesale REOs. I'll show you how to do easy fix and flips, make an easy 30 grand. I'll show you how to use our smartphone apps, put them on your computer, put them on your smartphones. I'll give you our list of private investors. I'll give you their checklist. I'll show you how to provide this. Do an investor package in less than 10 minutes. I'll show you how to use other people's money, other people's assets, other people's credit, other people's experience, including mine. I'll show you how to do qualified short sales and deals, especially with banks on the FDIC watch list. Get properties that are easy fix and flips from motivated sellers. I'll show you how to wholesale deals. With our Excel spreadsheet, you'll analyze a deal in 2 minutes. That's what you send the investor. I'll show you how to get on every one of those government auctions, pick properties up way below market value. You'll have the FDIC watch list banks. I'll show you how you need to use a land trust. Lenders sometimes put seasoning requirements. You can't sell it for 2 years. You got to hold it, rent it. You can't use investors on that. You put it in a land trust. No, you can't sell the house, but you can sell the land trust and the house goes with it. By the way, it costs you about $2,000 or more, depending on who your attorney is, to provide you with a land trust. I got a reusable land trust. I give you copies of all my documents. I got over 250,000 real estate documents and contracts, including a reusable land trust, so you don't have to pay an attorney. I'll show you how to set up a self-directed qualified retirement plan. So you're the trustee and you can invest in real estate. How'd you like to turn your retirement accounts and earn from 30 to 100% every year on your retirement accounts? You got our property decision maker Excel spreadsheet. You get our smart tools, our data sources. I'll show you how to create a residual income where you have more money coming in than money going out. Never again be dependent on a job, the government, Social Security, or pensions. I'll show you how to retire wealthy and happy, because you can't be dependent on a job, the government, Social Security, or pensions anymore. You have to take it and run with this. I don't do this very often. I'm giving you everything. Everything. You want my bank guide? You want to be able to search the REO departments, the asset managers? You want to know a name of a person, a contact? Look, I'm going to cover a lot more stuff here for about another 20 minutes. If you can't wait, you're ready to enroll, you can call this number right now. Area code 407-641-1734. It's limited. I'm only going to train 15 people. Call that number. When you call it, hit option 2. So if you can't wait, you're ready to get going right now, write this number down and call it. 407-641-1734, option 2. Look, our gold rule, no risk, high reward, none. I am not a real estate speculator. We are not real estate speculators. We are not gamblers. Everything we do is a systematic and predictable process. Do it my way, the right way, you're going to make a lot of money. We have perfected a system, and I will teach you this system. The system is like a flow chart. If you get stuck, I will explain to you. If you get stuck, don't know what to do, go to your flow chart. I will give everybody I train a step-by-step action guide for you to follow. Here's what you do: step 1, step 2, step 3. You'll never do this alone. We'll hold you by the hand and show you exactly how to do it, step by step. Okay? What do you do next? This is how you do it. I'll teach you, train you, advise you. I'll give you all of our tools, all of our data sources, all of our bank sources. Our system, the word system is spelled S-Y-S-T-E-M, stands for Save Yourself Stress, Time, Effort, and Money. I got news for you. You don't make money thinking about it. You don't make money by being on these calls. You make money by taking action. There's 7 fundamental laws to creating wealth. The 7th, and one of the most important, is the law of action. If you don't take any action, nothing happens. Nothing happens. If you take the same actions as you have in the past, you're only going to get exactly what you got. I'm going to teach you how to take totally different actions than you ever have in the past and get absolutely extraordinary results, results you would never get anywhere else. It's time to take action. Here's a picture of myself. That's me right over there on the right-hand side. That's one of my associates, Steve, on the left-hand side. And in the middle is Grace and her son, Lee. Now, Grace had no experience in real estate. I met her a few short years ago. I taught her how to do this. She was scared. She was skeptical. She's Chinese. English is a second language. Her son had just gotten out of college, got a master's degree in business, and was working at a restaurant. Okay? Can anybody relate to that? Kids are getting out with a college master's degree and can't find a good job. Crazy. I told her, Grace, if you don't do this, I don't care, put it on a credit card. What's it going to cost you? Put this on a credit card. And by the way, she invested $3,000, not $997, like I'm offering you tonight only. I said, shoot, even if you put that on your credit card, it's only going to be like 30, 50 bucks a month. I said, if you don't do this, I got news for you. It would be the biggest financial mistake you ever make in your life. She went for it. She wrote me this card. And by the way, it's got an angel on the card. Inside it, it says, with the help of Rick, his staff, and their training, I made 3 deals in less than 30 days and profited very great money. With no money and no credit, thanking God for the blessing of wonderful people like you. Thank you, Rick Brown, our mentor and great friend, Grace and Lee. By the way, this angel card, I got it right here in my hand. You know what? You know what this means? This means more to me than money. I helped her personally. I taught her how to do it. I helped her personally. I showed her how to do these 3 deals in less than 30 days. She made $81,000. The job she got laid off on and lost, shoot, it didn't even pay $81,000 a year. It paid about $60,000 a year. Oh, by the way, her son, he quit his job. He's working with her. Their goal is to do 30 properties a year for 2 years and retire with over $3 million and $300,000 in residual income. How many of you on this call here tonight would like to have in 2 years from now $3 million and $300,000 residual income? Well, take action. This is a one-time investment that will pay you back every day, every week, every year for the rest of your lives. If you structure yourself, and I will teach you how to structure yourself, it will not only pay you, it will pay your children, your grandchildren, and their children, and their children. Look, I'm going to teach you how to analyze a property like a professional in less than 2 minutes. I'm going to teach you what no one else teaches and very few people know. How to track a property, how to know exactly when the property goes back to a bank. If the minimum bid on the notice of trustee sale is more than what the property's worth, because you'll be able to analyze the value, without going to the trustee sale and wasting a whole day, you're going to know it's going to revert back to the lender. Then you get on our interactive bank guide and find that lender. You check the FDIC watch list. You see if they're a weak bank. You contact one of the asset managers, the REO department, a loss mitigation, disposition specialist. I'll show you, our guide has a contact person's name and their phone number. If you don't know a name and a phone number, and I'll teach you how to talk to these people. I'll teach you how to inquire about non-performing residential and commercial assets. I'll show you how to get to that decision maker, how to get wholesale properties direct from the bank, below market value. Use our private investors, okay? If you don't have the money and the credit, don't worry, as long as the deal's good. We'll show you, my goal is to show you how to fix, find, sell a property quickly below market value, make a great profit in less than 30 days. Okay, maybe even wholesale property. How many would be happy if you could find a deal using our system, our tools, our data sources, our Excel spreadsheets, our investors, and how'd you like to find a great deal and just wholesale it and make 10 grand in a week? In a week. I'll teach you how to do that. See, first of all, we're only interested in foreclosures where it's a first deed of trust. I'll show you how to pull up the data so you know who's foreclosing. Is it a first deed of trust? If it's a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, see the right-hand side? Who's foreclosing? Then we'll show you how to get to that lender. A lender who's foreclosing, the bank, it's called a beneficiary. You'll know who the trustee is. You'll know how to contact them. You know what the minimum bid is on the property. We find this little fixer-upper over in Mira Mesa area. And this wasn't even a bank-owned property. We'll show you how to find properties just like this. Shoot, the ARV. See, we'll be able to track properties, and your phone, your computer will notify you as soon as the property goes on the market. I got news for you. If you're not first, you're last. Okay? So here's a property, renovation value $450. We'll show you how to pick this property up for $335,000. After renovation value $450. Cost us $30,000 to fix it up. We got closing costs, real estate commissions, $25,000. Pay off the cost of the property, $335,000. Gross profit, $60,000. If you got the money, or you have a self-retired, self-directed retirement account, and I'll show you how to set that up, you could do this investment yourself, make $60,000. You don't have the money or the credit, or don't want to use your money, show you how to use an investor. Investor gets their money back plus $30,000, you get $30,000. So what's the investor put up? $335,000, $30,000 to fix it up. They got $65,000 in less than 90 days. They get back all their money plus $30,000. That's like an 8% return in less than 90 days. Shoot, if you can make an investor 10 to 20% a year, they love you. If you can make them about 10% every 90 days, they don't love you. They want to marry you. And all they want to know is, can you do it again and again? I'll show you not only how to do one of these, you start by learning how to do one at a time. Next thing you know, we don't do one, we'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 at a time or more. If you only did one of those, okay, and made $30,000, that's all you did, and only worked 10 months, what's 10 times $30,000? $300,000. Is that worth a one-time investment in your education to get all the right tools, to get all the right data services, to learn how to do this? Yeah. $300,000 a year. How much money do you make now? Here's Dan Tobias. He says, you guys are great. You made it so easy for me to make money. Thanks again for everything. Best investment I ever made. Thanks, Rick. Delia Guan writes, thanks, Rick, for helping me do a fixer-upper using none of my own money, make a lot of money fast. Yes, you were all great. Carlos, does Carlos look happy? I'd say so. He writes, thank you, Rick, for showing me how to easily do a wholesale foreclosure, make money fast, even though I had no money, no credit, no experience. You are a real blessing. Brett, he's an experienced investor from Newport Beach, okay? You want to talk to him, you can even talk to him. I'll give you his phone number. He writes, Dear Rick, I learned so much at your workshop. Before this, several of us paid a ton of money to other groups, but they only taught us concepts. See, he's an investor. He keeps investing in his education, even though he owns over 100 properties. He says, shoot, not only did he learn a lot, he says, you provided us with everything to do a real deal, real strategies, techniques others don't teach, plus the forms, bank contacts, asset managers, apps, Excel spreadsheets, private investor money. Your experience, support, tools, and guides are priceless. I wish I would have met you and your team sooner. Here's Eddie and Stephanie. They live up in the Bay Area. Rick's knowledge and experience are priceless. We've done two fixers already, made over $250,000. Awesome training. That means they made over $125,000 on each one. How would you like to go out and do what they did if that's all you did in 1 year? And by the way, they sent this to me, and they had only been doing it for about 90 days and made $250,000. Lenders also, not only are they ramping up, getting ready to foreclose, turn up the spigot, I got news for you. Now is the time to make money. You snooze, you lose. Next thing you know, you're going to miss this. You got to take action. There's also a tidal wave of commercial properties. We can make a lot of money with commercial properties just as well as residential. Don't worry. If you don't know commercial, I'll teach that to you too. Are you ready to learn how to know your market, know your product, know your numbers, get in, get out, get paid? Yes or no? I'm not going to train everybody. This isn't for everybody. If you're serious, I put together a powerful 3-day step-by-step online training. It's broken into 6 separate sessions. It starts this Saturday at 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon. If you're saying, you know what, I really want to do this, but I can't, I'm busy this Saturday, that's okay. I'm going to record every one of them. They're going to be on demand. In other words, every one of you, whether you're on live or you can't make it, you can go watch every one of these sessions, 6 sessions, full 3-day training over and over and over again. Repetition is the mother of learning. You're going to learn how to track REO foreclosures, get wholesale REOs, do easy fix and flips. I'm going to give you our smartphone apps, access to our private investors, the checklist, the equity participation agreement, the non-circumvention non-disclosure agreements as well. Okay, I'll teach you in 10 minutes. You can put together an investor package on a property. I'll show you how to use other people's money, other people's assets, other people's credit, other people's experience. I'll show you how to get qualified short sales and deed in lieu of foreclosures. That's what a DIL is. From weak banks. I'll show you how to profit with motivated sellers. Houses that just need updated, remodeled. I'm going to teach you key real estate, commercial real estate formulas. I'll make you smarter than 99% of all commercial investors and 99% smarter than all commercial realtors. I'll show you how to profit with government auctions, with real estate, with jewelry, with cars, boats. Shoot, how'd you like to go pick up a little car for $500 that the government's liquidating, turn around and sell it for a quick 5-10 grand? I'll give you the FDIC watch list so you know what banks must sell. I'll provide you with a reusable land trust in case there's seasoning requirements to get around that. I'll show you how to set up a self-directed qualified retirement plan where you're the trustee, you have the checkbook. Not that we can't trust anybody else with our retirement monies, but we can't trust anybody else with our retirement monies. I'll show you how to cover your assets, protect your assets, own nothing but control everything with a trust corporation, limited liability companies. I'll provide you free smart tools, data services. I'll show you how to create a residual income where you got more money coming in than money going out. Never again be dependent on a job, the government, Social Security, or pensions. I'll show you how to retire wealthy and happy. And if you do this correct, you'll not only set yourself up financially for the rest of your life, you'll set up your children, your grandchildren, and their children, and their children, and their children. I told you, I sell this thing at $6 grand. I discount it when I'm live at $3 grand. Tonight, one time chance, you can have it for $9.97. It's the only foreclosure training ever offered, wholesale foreclosure. You're going to learn how to quickly research, track properties just like a professional right from your smartphone, your computer, analyze the profitability of any deal in less than 2 minutes, quickly put together an investor package, access to our private investors with billions of dollars. You're going to learn our strategy, shortcuts, get wholesale foreclosures direct from weak lenders below market, learn our short sale secrets other people don't know so they can't teach it to you. I'd like to see everybody get involved with us, do a property in less than 30 days. Get your little $1,000 back, plus maybe a 20 grand profit, 30 grand profit, and then I'll show you how to do it again and again and again, over and over and over again. I got news for you. If I can get you to do 1, you'll do 2, you'll do 4, you'll do 8, 16, 32, 64, and never look back. I will change your life. I'm going to throw in a bunch of free bonuses, 3 months of on-demand training. You can watch our trainings over and over and over again, 24/7. I don't care if you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning or where you live or where you're at, anywhere in the world. You can go to our website and watch our trainings on demand. These are current, updated. Oh, gosh, we'll give you all the support, help, and advice. Pick up the phone, call our 800 number. I'm going to give you our property decision maker, our Excel spreadsheet. You're going to get all of our free smart tools, phone apps, data services. I'm going to put together a step-by-step action plan. Just follow the action plan. Come on, it's like a flow chart. You get stuck. Go to your flow chart. It tells you what to do next. You got 3 months access to our members-only website called dogreat.com. with all access to all of our real estate documents. Got over 250,000 of real estate documents, our non-circumvention, non-disclosure agreement, equity participation agreements, reusable land trust, and a ton more. You got access to our preferred investor list. I'll train you. I'll show you exactly one by one who they are, what they do, and what they want. I'll give you a list of key websites that you need. You need tools. You need data. You need these things. I'll give you access to the FDIC watch list so you'll know who's the weakest, and I'll also show you who the strongest banks are, and a ton more. For everybody who gets enrolled, we're immediately going to send out our quick start guide. And then we'll be sending you out. These are things you can do starting right now. And then before the training starts on Saturday, you'll start getting all of our smart tools guide, as well as a bunch of other handouts you can just look at on your computer and print them out. Real simple as well. Look, in addition to that, I'm going to give some of you, I can't do this for everybody, but for the first 6 people, okay, that take advantage of this one-time offer I'm making you, I'm going to give you something extra special, something very few people ever get. What is it? Me, personally. Value, priceless. For 6 of you that call in, the first 6, I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number. You got a deal. How do you think Grace, that Chinese lady, did 3 deals in less than 30 days, made $81,000? I gave her my personal cell phone number. I helped her do the deals. Okay? I can't do this for everybody. Okay? I'll do this for only 6 people, the first 6 people who call up and get enrolled. Okay? Am I going to do this for free? No. All I know is you pick up the phone, call me, I help you do a deal just like I did Grace. You make a ton of money like she did. I don't want any of the money. I got a ton of money. I do want something though. I want a really, listen really good. I want a really nice thank you card. And I'll give you a little tip. I like the angel cards, okay? I want to be a blessing. So if you're serious, you want my personal help, you want me to teach you, train you, advise you, you want my personal cell phone number, okay, pick up the phone and call 407-641-1734. Hit option 2 when you dial in. Oh, another thing, if you're one of the first 6, you get my personal cell phone number. I'll personally help you. There's a couple restrictions. You can only call me. Don't call me before 9 a.m. in the morning, and don't call me after 5. This is my personal cell phone. Come on, it goes to bed with me. It sits on the nightstand right next to me. It's one my family calls me on. Don't call me before 9. Don't call me after 5, Monday through Friday. If it's an emergency on a weekend, you got a deal, you got to talk to me, give me a call. I'll still help you if it's an emergency, but only from 9 to 5. Okay? That's the secret. All right? I want to be a blessing to you. If you're serious, take action now. That's a one-time investment that will pay you back every day, every week, every month, every year for the rest of your life. If you listen to my training, you take my advice, you structure yourself correctly, I got news for you. Not only will I change your financial life and future forever, I will set you up and you will structure yourself and you will take care of yourself financially, but you take care of your children, your grandchildren, and their children, and their children, and their children. You'll create a legacy for your children. You've got to take action. Pick up the phone, give us a call. The number, write it down, 407-641-1734, option 2. First 6 people get my personal help. Listen, do great. I want you guys to do great. That's why our website is called dogreat.com. One day I was going to work when I was a lot younger and my daughter was real young. She said, Daddy, do good today at work. I told her, shoot, honey, please don't tell me do good. Tell me do great. That way if I mess it up, I still did real good. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do great. I want to show you how to be financially independent and never be dependent on anybody again. Pick up the phone, give us a call. 407-641-1734. I'll change your life. Option 2. Take care. Have a terrific night. God bless. Take care. It's been my pleasure. Over and out.